Good day, everyone. My name is Charles Plain. I'm the current chairman of the board of the Continuing Committee's directors. And it is Sunday, June 6th, 2021, and this is our board meeting. As I said, I'm the chairman. I'm also the director of First Edition, and I will have everybody else here introduce themselves, starting with Justin.
Good morning. I'm Justin, Resistance is Futile on the boards, current Chief Financial Officer.
And Maggie?
Sorry, Maggie Geppert, Executive Officer.
And
That's Index 8 on the boards.
TJ.
Yeah, Chuck on the board, Director of Second Edition.
Our Director of Operations, Brian Schefflein, will be late. Chris Stonsby, our Director of Organized Play, is in South Dakota for a regional. And Scott Bauman should be here. I'm assuming he's just running a little bit late. So we're going to get started. We do have quorum. Quorum is 4 members, so we can conduct business. And I pulled up all this stuff that I needed to look at and not the agenda. I am good at this. Let's see here. Let us start with department reports. And that is you first, Maggie. Tell us what's going on.
So I have things that belong in my EXO duties have been put on hold a little bit. I have a couple of new player things that I need to look at, but have gotten pushed to the side by other volunteer duties that I work on. So I've run, I think since our last meeting, I've run a release event. I think the release event for Dogs of War was in progress during our last meeting. And I also am running an online release for the second edition Heroes and Demons event. I have been cutting promos. I've been cutting promos to restock the promenade. So if you have bought regional passes, you can now get your regional kits from the promenade, and you can expect to see more kits going up soon. I did Tribbles kits. We've got release kits for the Dogs of War and Heroes and Demons have all been cut and assembled, and they are all at the new warehouse, which we will update you all on. That's a little later on the agenda. But yeah, I've been working on some urgent. The promenade sort of took precedence over working on some of the new player initiatives that I've been wanting to really dig into. So that's about what I've been doing as executive officer since our last meeting.
Excellent, thank you. I see that Scott has joined us, and I'll ask him to introduce himself quickly.
Hi guys, Scott Boltman, Director of Communications. Thanks for having me.
Excellent, thank you for being here. Next is the Department of First Edition, so I will do that very quickly. Things are going well. We've revived the Friday question. That took a hiatus for a while, and I basically asked for help, and so now we're rotating between James Heaney, our rules master, James Mossbroten, our playtest manager, Dan Hammond, one of the leaders of the balance team, Patty, one of the creative team leader, and then myself. So that's been good. We have 3 sets in playtesting, believe it or not. One of them, Project Quarantine, is in rules and creative review. That's going to be the little Q boutique that will come out sometime this summer. We have Project Rogue, which is the first set in the movie block that is getting tested. And then we have Project On Guard, which is basically a TNG Cardassian set in which we build TNG Fed and a TNG Cardassian deck that play really well against each other. So if you only have one person you can play with, you can download this and print it out and start playing with it. So that's all that's going well. There will be a remastered set coming out in the next couple weeks once I lock down the exact date. but I got the proof of it today, and it looks beautiful. So it's nice, beautiful, gorgeous, high resolution cards. The rules team worked incredibly hard to get a lot of the rules that are in the glossary out and onto the cards without changing their function. And the art team, especially Johnny and Jorn, have done a fantastic job recreating the images. So I think you guys are going to be pleasantly surprised to see that soon. So that's really all the news in Oney Land. Things continue moving forward. So I'm going to hand it over to my good friend Chark and have him tell us what's going on in 2E World.
On guard is
There.
Fed and Cardassian, right, Charlie? Sorry.
What was that, Justin?
On guard is TNG Fed and Cardassian decks, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so at the moment we have Project Diana in the final stage of playtesting. There might be 1 or 2 additional rounds of playtesting. We made the cost check of the cards, and we still discussing up to 3 cards for a better wording, and we are working on making some other cards, the text of the cards shorter and easier to read. The tag, the set of the name Project Diana, I guess, will be Project Caretaker when I remember it right. So Project Caretaker says a little bit about what's being in the set. I do not expect any big changes during playtesting, and the set is from my opinion, in a good condition. That will be the next set showing up depending on what's coming next on Oney. After that, there will be the community set. The community set is in a good condition as well, but we try to overwork some of the cards to look better and going to playtesting with a best version we can offer to the community. Yeah, there are the next 2 sets. Yeah, a little bit about errata. So the balance team of TUI is working hard to better the game experience, and the last set of errata causes a little bit trouble because there were cards we considered overpowered or overplayed, and we cut them down a little bit. And this time, errata go a little bit for making not so much played card a little bit more playable or more interesting. So there's no need to fear that we cut down existing cards. I haven't get all the cards errata is discussing at the moment, but as far as I know, it will be cards being powered up instead of card overpowered or overplayed cards down. Yeah, that's all at the moment for 2nd edition.
Excellent. Thank you for that update. Scott, you're up next. So.
All right, great. Thanks, guys. Don't have a whole lot to report from communications area, but I did want to say big thanks to Mr. Sloan, the forum user out there, who had sent in a really interesting article about organizing combos for 1st edition dilemmas that got some pretty good feedback on the boards. So it was a good article, and he did a great job of making sure to go through several revisions of the text and all to get it up to where folks could understand it, and it was very enlightening for a lot of 1st edition players and 1st edition new players who were wanting to figure out just how you get those dilemma combos to work so well in that game.
Absolutely. That was a good article. So excellent.
Yeah, I really enjoyed reading it.
I have a statement here from Chris Stonsby. I'm going to read verbatim. Locals, first off, huge shout out expressing gratitude to the online community for all the gigs they have been hosting lately and continue to host. We are thankful for everyone's efforts to play online. even as we start to return to normal, whatever that looks like for everyone. For in-person, we are beginning to see additional areas return to the local scene, with recent tournaments happening in Ohio, Alabama, Florida, and California, and additional local gigs getting nailed down for other areas. The LP team is especially looking forward to the US-Canada border being reopened so the BC-Washington group can start playing together again. As vaccines become more readily available internationally, we're also excited to see in-person track return to the UK and Europe. We've all had so long to cook up new decks, I can't wait to see what the new hotness is. Regionals. Successful regionals have been held in a few areas of the US already, and are beginning to get scheduled globally, with events in Germany and Australia happening later this summer. Now that the regional kits are available, we hope people will consider attending, if not hosting, a regional championship. Don't sleep on the online regionals. We're currently in the process of lining up between 4 and 6 separate online tournaments, so we have something for everyone. Constructed, sealed, weekly, and one-day gigs. Stay tuned, they will likely be announced very soon. Nationals and Masters have not had a lot of traction lately. Most likely US Nationals will return to Gen Con, but that's still being discussed. Masters of the Universe 4 online in the fall is also highly likely. If anyone has objections, you should reach out to Chris, Laura on the forums. If you're interested in hosting an event of this caliber and get access to the super cool Year of Bajoran stuff, which we'll be showing off soon, please contact your local Continental coordinator or Chris directly. Continentals had planned to be awarded to the sites that had them last year but had to cancel them, but it sounds like those plans are going to need to change. At this stage, he believes that the European venue has been nailed down and there is a volunteer for the North American venue, but if anyone out there is interested in hosting, please let them know. We would love to see Australia host Continentals in 2020. As nothing is official yet, please stay tuned. And lastly, Worlds. If you have not already, please start planning your trip to Chicago in October for the World Championship. These events are being hosted by Maggie, courtesy of Good Games Chicago, on the weekend of October 9th. She's also posted a handful of articles with tips on where to stay, places to visit. Make sure you check them out if you have any interest in attending. And we look forward to seeing you there on the last stop to Road to Worlds this season. So that is report from Chris. I am now going to send it over to Justin.
Moving right along. There's been some decent activity over the last since the last board meeting. One of the biggest headways is I've finally gotten through to the former vendors that we used to use for our meetings and our voting, Cisco and eBallot, and I'm actually close to getting some of the funds refunded since we had canceled the transactions. And we stopped using with a bit of a lag there. So I'm hoping to get that finalized very soon to get that money back into our account. And huge progress this week, being off from work on getting the giant article and everything all put together. And so I'm happy with that. I'm still a little behind, but made huge progress on that. And seeing a lot more activity on the promenade too. So that is awesome. People are doing more events and love it.
Are we just like, how would you rate our current financial status on a scale of like, we're in danger to we're doing okay?
We're good. Like I said, we have currently just over 4,000 sitting in the account. So we are in good shape.
Okay, thank you. Lastly, I have here a report from Brian about operations. Achievements. Marcus has made some code improvements which sped up the achievement standing page. It's currently loading about 70 times faster than it used to, so that should be pretty noticeable. At the same time, the programming team has mostly been working on bug fixes. It's been pretty quiet. He says, thankfully, if you didn't notice changes, that's a good sign that nothing is wrong. Speaking of shipping in the warehouse, I believe the warehouse move is still in progress. Hopefully he'll join us in time to fill us in on that. But he did say regional kits have started shipping. Some of them have already been received. All of the remainder that are owed should be in the post office tomorrow, Monday. So
I can do a little update on the warehouse, Charlie. because
Okay.
I was there yesterday. So I was dropping off those regional kits and other things at Brian's new condo. And so Brian has received all of the product that Dan had at the warehouse. So he had, and all the shipping materials. So the padded envelopes, the baggies, penny sleeves, all all those sorts of things. The only thing that he doesn't have is the scale that we use to weigh the packages, if such a thing exists. So I think that's the only thing that's missing right now. Oh, Charlie, you're muted.
I'll have to probably buy another one because I know Dan is still going to need his to mail out raffle prizes and stuff. Because I think those are still coming from Dan. But
we weren't sure about that, actually, whether Dan kept the things for raffle prizes or sent them to Brian. We know Dan wants to continue to run the raffle, but Brian was under the impression that Dan had sent him all of the raffle prizes and would just be entering things into the system. And then
well,
Brian
we'll have
would
to
it. But we'll
have to
talk
sort
about
that
it.
out.
Yeah, we'll
So.
sort that out. So yeah, I mean, we're moving forward on that to get things working where they need to be. Brian is using this as an opportunity to see if improvements can be made to the shipping processes generally, and then hopefully we'll be able to find somebody who can volunteer to run the warehouse full time. So, but he wants to see how things work that way before we move it to yet another place.
Yeah, makes sense. So, in terms of promos, they were all printed recently up through Heroes and Demons. Maggie and Eric Ish, her awesome workhorse of a partner, have assembled quite a few of them and will continue assembling. But everything is there. The last series of promos, a bunch of them, all of the regional masters, Continentals and Worlds promos, the release promos from the last set, and some Tribbles. So kits will be stocking up very soon.
And the ambassador promos also.
The ambassador promos as well. Also the new white border previews for 1E, which I'm not telling you what they are yet.
Oh,
so.
Dude, they look sharp. I put those together. They look awesome. Also, Dan sent me. He found some uncut sheets of some older second edition sets. So our ambassadors might be able to purchase those, or those might go in the raffle. I don't know which, but I have some uncut sheets of Series 9, Series 7, and no, that's it. Series 9 and Series 7. So
cool.
Yeah, so there will be those. Wait, I think there is one more thing. Oh, some random Tribbles from the very first, some random foils of the very first Tribbles set. So,
cool.
Yeah, so some neat stuff as the warehouse has been cleaned out.
We are also working very hard to get very ahead so that the problems that we've had over the past couple years will be solved by having new shipping options and having our promos done well in advance. So remember, we make these for fun, and therefore fun, not for shenanigans. So, all right. So we talked about, that was all the department reports, and we sort of already jumped into the warehouse transfer and shipping update. We might circle back to that if Brian jumps on, but I did want to briefly touch on something we talked about last time that some people were concerned about. I put it on the agenda as clarification on director responsibility, authority, and scope. So this was what Chark was talking about last time. And don't let me misspeak, but we had a situation where your art team had made a really cool borderless ship in Heroes and Demons. And I saw that and I was like, hey, can we not do borderless cards in sets? And then Chris also said that because he wanted to keep them as promos, and it sort of rubbed you the wrong way. Is that a fair assessment of what happened? But I think, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we've hashed that out. We actually had a long talk after the board meeting ended last time where we sort of explained everything. And I explained that my concern was like, if borderless ships start showing up regularly in 2E sets, everybody is going to want them to be in 1E sets too. And that puts a lot of extra pressure on my department and the art team there. And then so essentially where we've landed is Chark is the boss of 2E. He's entirely in charge of 2E. But if something comes up that affects another department, we as a board will discuss it. And the same for me. If I'm trying to do something that, Chark's trying to do, we're going to talk about it. We're all on the same team, and nobody was really interfering with you. And do you feel like that's where we're at, or?
I'm perfectly fine. I told about my concerns, and the reason why this was brought up was a little bit the problem that people get not access to the borderless ships, and I guess the board tries to fix that problem or has fixed that problem. And we are doing some more interesting art stuff, and I will make sure that the board gets a look for these cards earlier so that we can fix problems ahead before they show up. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm perfectly fine.
So the main point is each director has the sole authority over their department. Only exception is when something they are doing impacts another department. So if we're trying to launch a 1E podcast, I would expect Scott to want to be involved in that, for example. If we're trying to do something that's going to cost a lot of money, we get to talk to Justin about that.
I'm totally down for a 1E podcast. Just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, I'm not volunteering for that. I don't have the time, but it'd be cool. Anyway, everything is fine. That's the main thing. Is it was a miscommunication, and that nobody needs to be worried that we're interfering with each other, because that's not what we're doing. I just wanted to address that because it was brought up as a point of concern. So, okay, let's go to new business. I have 2 items on the new business agenda, and then you can let me know if there's anything else you guys wanted to discuss. I should say, does anyone else have anything they wanted to discuss on old business first?
I would like to point out we have not approved the meeting minutes from the last meeting.
Oh, thank you. I have totally skipped that link. Let's go back and do that now.
I move to approve the meeting minutes. From the
have a motion to approve the meeting minutes. Would somebody second? Okay.
Second.
All right. Anyone all in favor, please raise your hand or say aye.
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 Okay. The meeting minutes are approved. Thank you, Maggie. I am not good at this. All right. Back in January, we discussed dream card policy on our website, because there are people that want to be able to post graphical dream cards, and there are other people that think that that's not an appropriate thing to do on our site. And we said that we were going to look into it, and things have been busy and we haven't. So what I would like to do today is create a special committee to work on this for us. That is something that bylaws allow us to do. So I'm putting out a call today for anyone who would like to head up that committee. And essentially what I'm looking for is a group that will do what was done years ago when we created the code of conduct, which is like, we're going to create an independent group and say, you guys look at all the facts and talk to all the people and propose a policy for this site and these forums, and then we will adopt it if it covers all the bases. So I would like to do this, but I'd like to open discussion to you guys on it first, because I think this is something where the community could really help and guide our policies moving forward. So.
I'm perfectly okay having a group working on this. You know, I don't know who here would be in charge of that per se, like gathering a group. I mean, it wouldn't, I don't necessarily mean that any of us should necessarily be on the committee, but just like to you know, to herd cats and get, and, you know, write the articles and stuff.
Well, I'm happy to do the cat herding. I just need a cat to step forward and say, I would like to run that committee. So if you're out there and you're interested in putting this together and working on creating an updated dream card policy for this site, please reach out to me. You can contact me on the forums at Midnight Witch.
I think we might have some people who maybe like dream cards a little bit.
We have a few. Does anybody, I don't remember if there's, are there any objections to creating this committee?
Nope.
Okay. The other piece of new business is that we were called on by a member of the community to examine all of the people who are currently banned and make a decision on if those bans should continue or be overturned. So this has been a hot topic this week. It wasn't intended to be a hot topic, but it certainly turned it out that way. So we currently have two members who are on this list, and we'll consider them independently. So I will open up the floor, and when you guys are done with discussing, someone can call for a vote. So I open up the floor to discussion.
I have a comment, which is neither of the permanently banned members have petitioned to rejoin the forum. The bylaws state that if someone who is permanently banned by the board wishes to be reinstated, that they need to petition to do so. So I do not feel that since neither of these people have petitioned, I don't feel that there's any need to discuss this issue at this time.
I agree. If anybody who's banned wants to come back and have their ban overturned, they should ask us to consider that.
Well, the request from the community member was in our last meeting, we said, and I guess we didn't update the bylaws, which was, you know, we need to do now. But we said that we as the board have the authority to periodically review the list and remove someone from it if we deem it to be appropriate. That is what we were asked to do now, is review the list and make removals if we believe it to be appropriate. You are correct that the bylaws say that if a banned user submits that request, we must address it. But we did specifically say last time that we have reserved the right to review those at our discretion, and we were called upon to do so. That's what this agenda item is, and that's why we're discussing it. So we do need to formalize that language in the bylaws, and I will make that an agenda item for next time. So. Anyone else want to discuss the topic? Okay, we'll close discussion, and I suppose we'll have a vote. So on the case of Ben Hosp, B. Hosp on the forums, does anyone want to motion that he should be reinstated? Okay, we have a motion to reinstate. Can I get a second? You guys are going to make me research Robert's Rules of Order.
So I vote for reinstate Ben Hosp.
Okay. I guess we'll do a roll vote then. We have one vote to reinstate Mr. Ben Hosp. Maggie,
Vote nay.
Justin,
Sorry, I was on mute. I was on. Oh crap. I feel like I have been out of the loop on the forums too much to make an informed decision, so I will abstain on this one.
okay, Scott.
I vote nay.
Then the motion fails. All right, we shall, 2 nays and 1 yay fails the motion, even if my vote doesn't matter because a tie doesn't do it. So on the matter of restoring Mr. John Corbett, Killer B on the forums, may I have a vote from you, Maggie?
I vote nay.
Justin?
No.
Okay. Shark?
No.
And the motion fails. So, all right, we have addressed that, and anyone who has questions can reach out to us. And we will happy to answer them. So, did anyone else here have any new business? So, I'm curious to hear feedback from you guys on whether you are okay with these meetings, not the board members, the community. Are you okay with these meetings being every 6 to 8 weeks instead of every month? Or if you would like to see us go back to a more monthly schedule, please, if you have any feedback on that, let us know. Otherwise, I think we're going to stick with the 6 to 8 week model because there's just not that much going on at the moment for us to talk about. And nobody reached out to me to speak during the public comment period. Has anybody checked on the forums or Discord or YouTube and seen if we had any comments or questions we can discuss?
I've been watching the feed, but I don't see. I've been watching the feed on YouTube. Not really any questions per se. Somebody says once per quarter would be fine. They also wrote the word Pimperlitzen, which like Google Translate is failing me right now on that one. I don't know. Yeah, we have two folks saying quarterly should be enough. Also,
We're required to have 6 meetings
Ben
a year.
is laughing at me saying the word Pimperlitzen, so
The bylaws do require us to have 6 meetings a year, so we can't quite go down to quarterly, but we can do bi-monthly. So, okay.
I have no new business, so I would move to adjourn.
All right, we have a motion to adjourn. So, well, I did just get a message that Brian just got home. Do we want to wait for him and hear his thoughts on the warehouse situation in more detail, or do we want to just go ahead and adjourn?
I second the motion to adjourn. We can let Brian post a report on the forums.
All right, we have a motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for watching and for attending. You can contact all of us through the forums if you have any questions, and we will see you again in 6 to 8 weeks. Thank you very much.